and welcome to the Always Sunday Football Podcast. I am Dave. I'm joined, as I am every week, Johnny. How you doing, John?
Doing well, doing well.
Anthony, how do you do?
I be doing all right.
Thanks for joining us. Danny, how's it going?
Doing well. Quite well.
Love it.
Awesome. Okay, so we're deep into the off season right now, or the preseason, as it were, the preseason. As everybody knows, fireworks were invented as a sort of alarm clock for mankind to remind us that fantasy football season is right around the bend. And the fireworks happened just recently, and now it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. Start thinking about quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers and tight ends and maybe even some defenses at some point. So what we're going to do today is we're going to discuss a little bit of news, a few items up front, some interesting stuff that Johnny has for us on the little list there. Then we're going to some running backs. We're going to get ourselves a general consensus between the four of us of what we think the top, the RB1s, 2s are going to be, and then a couple of names that need to be mentioned in the conversation. And then maybe we'll close it out with a little best ball draft, little group best ball draft. We'll use our brand new running back rankings and help us do a best ball draft potentially.
We'll do our RB rankings, and then we'll do a 0 RB draft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No RB1s or RB2s. So hey, John.
Yes, sir.
What do you got for us in news this week? Or this episode?
So, according to today's news, big news, a defense that I was considering on drafting, Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Cam Sutton suspended 8 games for violating the personal conduct policy. Big blow to the secondary, and they're going to have to rely on this pass rush. So that's the first news. Any thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I have a question. Do you know what he did? Conduct 8 games is a lot of games.
That is a lot of
8 games. 8 games is a long suspension. What kind of personal conduct are we talking about here? Anybody know?
So it is mentioned again, and it's a domestic violence issue that occurred in March.
Oh,
Ray Rice.
So yeah, it's not looking good. Anytime you ever hear domestic violence, we do not condone. I do not condone it. Nobody here condones domestic violence, but it seems to be a reoccurring thing. And obviously, I'm hoping that the truth comes out. If he's innocent, hope he gets an opportunity.
I'll say this: he didn't even choose to appeal it. He's just going to serve the suspension. So I think we can. Yeah. I think we can assume that he's not. He's not going to be. There's no innocence here.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he's going to shortly write a book on how he would have done it if he did do
it. Maybe.
All right. So I also have a couple of storylines as well. I want to talk about the new OC in Tampa Bay because I'm the biggest Buccaneers fan. There is to know to mankind. His name is Liam Cohen. All right. He was under McVay. He was also the OC over in Kentucky with Will Levis. And I'm really interested in seeing another McVay disciple going over and seeing what he can make of Baker Mayfield. Obviously, last year, David Canales, now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And I don't know how the Buccaneers keep getting these big name OCs, but I surely believe that the Buccaneers are going to hit the ground running. And I'm also, we'll talk about this a little bit later, I'm very high on Danny Mac's boy, Rashid White, this year.
Yeah, the Bucs. I mean, Your boy,
First of all,
we did call it last year, Baker Mayfield.
Whoever you said as their OC, he's no big name. He's not a big name guy. That's the only thing I have on that.
He could. But John's saying he's gonna be. John predicts.
So, Danny, are you high or are you low on the Buccaneers this year?
Indifferent. I'll wait and see.
Okay.
Wait and see.
Okay. Well, how about this
I
question
don't
for
hate them,
everybody?
but I don't know if we'll see.
Last year they made the playoffs and they actually won a playoff game.
They did.
John, do you think they're going to make the playoffs this year?
I do.
Yes or no?
I do.
Anthony, do you think they're going to make the playoffs this year?
I do.
Danny, do you think they're going to make the playoffs this year?
They can, but I'm going to go with no.
I also say no. I think this year they don't. I think they take a little bit
I
of a
think
step
they'll
back.
be in the mix, but I don't think they're going to win the division.
Agreed. John, what else you got?
All right. So I also want to talk about Anthony's former team, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh.
And I like to talk about Greg Roman, all right, the new offensive coordinator under Jim Harbaugh. I'm going to do an early prediction that the Los Angeles Chargers do not make the playoffs in Jim Harbaugh's first season as the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. Hear me out.
Interesting.
Hear me out. Okay. There's a lot of talent on that team defensively. I'm expecting, but we also expected that last year, a defensive team. I think Greg Roman and what Harbaugh's view of how this team is going to be is it's going to be extremely run heavy. I think that they're going to extremely miss Keenan Allen and your Mike Williams and whoever the hell they have over there now. Now they have like Josh Palmer as their best wide receiver. I think that they need a lot of help in wide receiver. They're going to rely on a rookie. And I think that this team is just going to make too many mistakes. There's a lack of talent on offense. And I do think that this team is going to fall narrowly short of the playoffs this year. You just don't have enough running backs of a Greg Roman system. You have J.K. Dobbins, you have Gus Edwards, and you're relying on a rookie, Kamani Vidal, which I'm very, very high on this year. I just don't think there's going to be enough for them to win.
Anthony, your rebuttal? Your beloved Chargers?
I mean, I could see it. I could see them not making it. The guy they sold out. They sold all their receivers. I mean, their top ones are doing a little rebuild around the head coach, and you don't know what it's to be. But then looking at their schedule, I mean, it's not super easy. Justin Herbert is a talented quarterback, but are they going to be run heavy with all these different running backs that they have here? And is it going to be the Minnesota and the Giants 2 years ago where their record's okay, but they, time management and low scoring games and the end? I don't know. I could see it happening. Like if you were to tell me to bet on it, I would bet looking at their schedule. I mean, they got some tough games. They're going to lose to the Chiefs twice, the Ravens twice.
They have the second easiest schedule in the NFL this year.
Second easiest?
Yes.
Second easiest.
Yes, they do.
Wow. Don't they play the Chiefs twice and the Ravens twice?
Not the Ravens.
Oh, the Chiefs. I mean, I saw it was the Ravens and the Bengals. My bad. I shouldn't be twice. But yeah, I mean, looking at the schedule, I mean, I think they could lose a lot of those games.
Interesting.
So they say it's.
So would you say you're still as high on the Chargers as you've been, or are you kind of? Is John right? Are you taking a step away?
As fantasy concerns, yeah, I'm not drafting really a receiver. I mean, maybe you reach on, not reach, but maybe I don't know. I just so uncertain. And then same thing in that backfield. Is it going to be a committee? Most likely. Joshua Palmer is the veteran there. He'd be the number one, but like I don't want anybody honestly on that offense. Look at Herbert, you know, like where he's like the QB 17.
Danny, where are you on the Chargers? Any feelings in any direction?
Gun to my head, I would probably have them not making it, but I could see them making it. But I would probably have them in tier of the contenders that don't make it. I don't think they're going to go like 13. But if I had to pick 7 teams to go to the playoffs in the AFC, would they be one of the 3 wild cards? Probably not.
Yeah, I guess I go along with John's original point and with what everybody else is saying. And, you know, maybe they're just like it's still too early in the Harbaugh tenure. He still needs to
it just started
a year away at least. You know, this is a make it or break it year for Quentin Johnston. We'll see if Ladd McConkey is a player. Joshua Palmer, I think we know what he is, and he's not inspiring anybody. They don't really have much going on at tight end, I don't think. So there's plenty of room for improvement on that team. I think they still are.
As far as offensive weapons, right? And you know, they just got a bunch of Baltimore ex-running backs, and you know, got a rookie
injury prone ex-running back.
Well, one not so much, but the good one, yeah, injury prone.
Yeah,
I want to make a pivot, if you don't mind. So
yeah, move on.
Then I want to do another pivot. Do you think that
so that's like a Euro question?
Yeah. So I want to pivot to the Denver Broncos.
Ugh.
So really, really disgusting, this situation. But let's yeah. So Sean Payton, I'm gonna predict he doesn't make the playoffs once again. How long does this guy keep his job? Like, are we talking about Sean Payton being on the hot seat?
I don't think so.
Mom's on the hot seat.
I got a question because I don't know the answer. Is this now going to be his second season in Denver coming up?
Yes, it would be his second season. Yep.
Then I think he's got 3 to 4, 5 seasons. I mean, he's Sean Payton. So I think it would have to be a tremendously bad season for him this year for him to be on the hot seat the following year.
Yeah, it would have to be.
I think.
Yeah, they just got their QB, right?
Well, maybe that's the thing. Like but I think what you're alluding to is correct, that they drafted a QB, so they're like, okay, now give me time with this guy, blah blah blah. So
it's like a little cushion in time.
Right. Yeah, and I think you might be right about that. So yeah, no, I don't think Sean Payton would be. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't think so.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that is it seemed like last year things were kind of turning around, and then they tanked last year. I felt like when they benched Russell Wilson, obviously they said it was a contract reason or whatever the case may be, and they wanted to see what Jarrett Stidham is. And now he's apparently the starter coming in. I just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel for the Denver Broncos. I just don't. Vance Joseph is going to be in his second year as defensive coordinator there. And I honestly think, like, if he loses, that Miami game where they got blown out, if that happens again this year, I just don't know if that front office is going to want that again.
Yeah, I what do you think, Dan?
What?
What do you think about Sean Payton, where he stands? Do you think he's got a lot of room to play?
I think he's got a few more years. Yeah, I mean, like if it was like, I mean, if they're like 0-10 or something, then yeah, I could say it. But they would have to be, I think, pretty bad for him to lose his job. Now.
Yeah, I think it's just like the Harbaugh situation. He just needs more time to implement his system and get his guys in there and the whole 9 yards.
What are they going to be, the Giants, and just every 2-3 years get a new kid? You gotta let the system unfold a little.
I think Sean Payton's name and his resume buys him
buy him the most amount of time that he can possibly get.
Yeah. You'd have to really fuck it up to.
for sure.
What else you got, John?
And then last but not least, my last piece is the Las Vegas Raiders and their offseason. There's a guy I'm really high on in this year, and his name is Zamir White, former Georgia running back. Really super high on him this year. They just recently signed backup Alexander Madison. I think their running backs are going to be awesome. Still trying to figure out what they're going to do with this tight end situation between Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. I'm really interested in seeing that. And obviously they have Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. So I think the offense is going to be better. And also I think Gardner Minshew is going to – this is it for Gardner Minshew, I think. Do I think that they're going to make the playoffs? No, but I do think that they're going to surprise some people. Like, I do think that the Raiders could beat a team like the Los Angeles Chargers in a game, in a division round where the Chargers are the better team, but somehow, some way, the Raiders pull off a win. I don't know why. Something about the Raiders, the draft definitely scratched my head, but I definitely see the upside of Gardner Minshew having a great, maybe 4 or 5 games where he's like fantasy relevant somehow. But I really think that this offense is really interesting. And I do think that if Gardner Minshew can have a decent season, we could possibly be seeing that he can give extreme fantasy value, not only to Devontae Adams, but I'm even going as far as Jacoby Myers.
I mean, I agree with he'll be a DFS option a couple of weeks in the whole season where he'll be a low value. Yeah, like he'll be like 45 or 5,500, and he'll throw up a 28. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, hey, any given look with Geno Smith. I don't know.
I think Geno Smith is a completely separate class of quarterback. I think he's much, Geno. You can't put some respect on Geno Smith right there.
Well, a lot of two tight end sets, I think, in this
much
game.
Better quarterback than Gardner Minshew.
100%.
I would say he's like if Gardner Minshew would have
bigger cash.
Like, I don't know, like he had moments, when he was with the Colts, he actually had a pretty decent. He was decent. I just don't see them. I don't know. Like I just see him having like maybe 5 games where he's playing well. Obviously he'll be a good, DFS guy. But the Raiders are interesting this year, and I'm more interested in seeing like how Antonio Pierce can build the culture, because I don't think this team is going to be talented enough to win and make the playoffs. But I would like to see this team be competitive, like the scrappy old school Raiders, where they might not be talented, but in terms of, the team as they once were. But I would like to see this team just be scrappy.
Shake it up a bit.
Yes. This is my dark horse this year.
I think Gardner Minshew is nothing more than like a placeholder quarterback until they can get somebody. Like, I think he's going to be decent. He'll be able to get have the offense will function. But I'm not as high on them to make any kind of real noise. I think they'll be in the bottom third of the NFL when they finish. They'll be picking near the top of the draft next year, but maybe not quite high enough to get a new quarterback. Although I don't think it's a very strong quarterback draft next year. That's getting ahead of everything. But I don't have a lot of love for the
black and silver.
Yeah, and your boy Pierce, he's a guy who, I mean, this year I don't think would be on the hot seat, but I could see if they don't have a good season this year and maybe they lose some games in a bad way, or maybe he looks, he makes some mistakes or whatever. I could see him being on the hot seat next year. He's a guy who doesn't have that cachet to keep the job. He kind of like fell into the job. They don't need to keep him around for anything. He's got no resume.
No, they're like, all right, he finished out the season pretty good.
Good game,
let's
pal.
give him a shot.
What else you got, John?
And that's a wrap. And that's a wrap for news.
For news, really?
That's the wrap. That's a wrap for news and items. Anthony, you got any news or items that came up for you?
Well, I mean, everybody's talking about it because it just came out, the freaking Hard Knocks.
Go ahead and talk about it because I haven't seen it. Are you talking about the first episode of the Giants Hard Knocks?
Yeah, because of like Joe Shane and some of the things he said about, the contract with Saquon, where he didn't think anybody would pay $12 million, and how we're not paying. This is Daniel Jones' year. We got to protect him. But you don't pay a $40 million quarterback to hand it off to a $12 million running back. Some shit like that. Things. And then there was the chatter at. I'm sorry.
Did you see the episode?
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, it sounds like Joe Shane sounded like pretty bad in it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are some of the things he said that they think is bad, but it's like there was more people saying it was the overall of what he's saying is like, we don't need to pay this running this position, right? That's ultimately what he's saying, instead of how he was going about saying it. And there's more people that are disagreeing with that than there are agreeing with. There are some that are agreeing with it. Statistically, I mean, I guess but they say it's like in the past 15 years, there hasn't been a team to win a Super Bowl with like an elite running back. It's the position, right? With a high paid one, it's just like you kind of rough it through with the less, and you're paying those other needy positions, and so I see with that, right? And then there was a little bit into the Brian Burns thing when they were talking to the GM of the Panthers. That was kind of cool. He was going up to everybody, and that's the one thing they're trying to figure out, if they're gonna unveil in this series of the Giants, is for the draft. There was all this talk about them wanting to move up to whoever, right, to get their quarterback. And in this episode, it's all about Shane saying that Daniel Jones is our guy this year. This is our guy. Let's protect him. Let's give him weapons. And in the episode going up to the Panther, he's like going up to everybody, being like, "You guys want to move up to 6? You want to move up to 6?" And then everybody's like, "No, if anything, going back." And that's when the Brian Burns conversation came up. He's like, "You want to give us 2 1s for Brian Burns?" And he was like, "Ooh, no, but ooh." But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, like, if they how much they're going to give us, right? I think I don't know how many episodes it is. It was 4 maybe. So if it shows it'd be pretty cool to show the draft room and whatever's happening on for that first pick, if they're making those calls,
Mm-hmm. Danny, did you see the episode or no?
No, not yet.
I'd like to make a comment about the Giants. I do think that this defense is going to be for real this year. That front 7 is.
They're going to have a great, arguably one of the best front 7, and then secondary is not going to be good. But I want to see that. I mean, like the old school, like when they won the Super Bowl in 07 and 11, they had some big guys, some linemen getting to the quarterback, applying pressure, and with those names, still young, right? Like Sexy Dexy, I think is 26. He's on a contract. Like they're getting the pieces, and they're doing some smart things. Not everybody's making all the best decisions, but like paying Andrew Thomas early in a position that is going to now be more pricey, right? Drafting the rookie wide receiver instead of, there was talks about them looking at Ayuk. So instead of paying the guy, making these decisions, getting Brian Burns, him young with Thibodeau, so it'll be interesting. I'm interested. I mean, God only knows, but they had boxes that needed to be checked, and they're checking them. The line is better than it was last year. We'll see.
So you think Daniel Jones? What do you think Daniel Jones? What do you expect from Daniel Jones this year?
As far like where he would finish, or like yardage, or like what do you mean?
I mean, you can answer it however you want to answer it, but I'm talking in terms of like actual football. What do you expect out of Daniel Jones this year? And Danny, I would like to hear your answer for that as well.
I think if health is out of the question, right? If you're not talking health, just him in the games, I think he could have a similar year and should have a similar year, minus I think less rushing yards than the 2022 season. I think he had like over 750 rushing yards for the year. I don't think that many rushing, but I think he had a really good passer rate, like just a much crisper player, less turnovers, better protected, being able to hit the deep ball. I expect and suspect a turnaround, not a crazy one, but I mean, you can't compare it to the year before because it was actually absolutely horrible. He didn't play a lot. Team fell apart as far as injuries on the line and whatnot. But I think he finishes in the top 16 QB, 15th, 16th.
Top half. Danny,
Wow,
what about you?
I'm a little more higher on him than that.
Well, I'm shooting on a safer, lower thing. I mean, I don't want to go too crazy, but I think like he should be able to. He could definitely hit. I think he was 11th that year. He could definitely creep to that, but I think comfortably with what they've done, he should be able to with his skill set should be able to get to that middle of it.
Danny, what do you think?
I'd love it if he got to 15, 16. I think he'll do okay because the roster is better. I don't know. Asking him to stay healthy for a whole season is asking a lot at this point. I mean, I think he'll do all right, but not anything like crazy. But like I said, I don't expect him to play every game.
Yeah, like you said, that's a little bit. It's ambitious to assume that. I mean, he probably won't even start the season, right? Like, I don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the season. He may not even play
right. At this point in his career, it's like a couple neck surgeries, the ACL. I mean, these aren't minor injuries. You know.
Now, I have a follow-up question for both of you guys. What do you see the Giants do? What do you think the Giants do after the season situation? They still have Daniel Jones on the books, but it's not out of the question for them to release him, to cut him. What do you think that they do after the season? Dan?
I think that depends on how he plays.
Facts.
You do? Okay. Yeah. So Anthony, you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, if he has a decent enough year to where they say, okay, he, given the circuit, whatever the case may be, you know, his contract is in, the bulk of the guaranteed money is paid, and if there's no, like you're saying, the QB draft isn't ideal, whatever the market may be, they might just have to hold on one more year. But you know, you never know what there's some that Dak situation is going to be interesting.
So, what if he's bad this year?
If he's bad. He's that's it. If he's bad, they gave him every opportunity, right? The line was bad. You had no weapons. Okay, they legitimately made the line better, right? Also, remember, Andrew Thomas missed half the season last year. Evan Neal still not doing where he was drafted at. So they bring in some more guys. The line's now better. Get you an elite receiver in Malik Neighbors. The receiving core now isn't actually bad, right? It's a decent receiving core. You have no more excuses, right? You don't have a Saquon Barkley in the backfield, but you have a comparable running back. As John would say, Devin Singletary is no slouch.
Hang on a second.
To a running back that
could. We'll wrap it up here because you're just being ridiculous. You can't. I mean, I don't think.
I'm not comparing him to Saquon, but I'm saying he's a
comparable running
to an average back, to where you're not like, oh man, I don't have a running back in my backfield. You don't have an elite one. You have a.
I think you say competent, not comparable.
You know, it's a long day. Yeah.
And the second thing is, I want to remind you that we've had this conversation before. That microphone is not in front of your face is not working. You're not using it.
Are you sure?
You're positive, because you should sound like John, and you don't. You sound.
Well,
like
I don't know what I sound like.
Well, Anthony, on the little gear, click on it and make sure it says Yeti under.
Yo, you're a fucking Yeti, John.
Yeah, the gear on.
The same way.
Yeah, You guys have the same thing. He's using John just got his and he's using it correctly. And you every time it's the same thing. You're moving it around in front of you. And it's not working. Okay, so let's talk running backs, fellas.
Can't wait.
So what we're gonna do is we are going to discuss and rank the top 30 running backs, which means we're going to talk about all the RB1s, which is 1 through 12. We're going to talk about the RB2s, which is 13 through 24.
Better now?
Sorry? You have to say something.
Is it better?
Wow.
Yes.
So much better.
Yeah.
And now
if you move closer.
I touched the goddamn thing.
What do you mean? He can't hear us. He turned on his microphone and he turned off the output. Okay, so let's talk about this.
This is wild.
We'll discuss.
This is stupid.
I love it. CMC.
So now, are we in agreement? Anthony, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm back. I just unplugged it.
Oh, what happened?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What happened? Why did you unplug it?
The microphone?
Yeah, what happened?
Because I wasn't able to hear you guys. I didn't know if you were hearing me.
Okay. All right. Okay, so are we all in agreement that Christian McCaffrey is the number one running back, in preseason right now?
Without a doubt.
Okay. Are we also in
Unless you're
agreement
Luis.
exactly. Are we also in agreement that he's in a tier by himself? Like,
Yes.
Christian McCaffrey, and there's like nobody else who's comparable to him, who's like similar. It's Christian McCaffrey and then nobody else, right?
Yes.
Cool. So now let's go around the room. Who do you have as your number 2 overall running back going into the season, at least right now, early in the offseason? JT, Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's like a tier, like 4 or 5 guys that are all way closer together than they are to McCaffrey.
John, who's your number 2 overall running back?
Breece Hall.
Same.
You have Breece as well. I have Bijan. So
I have him too.
This is interesting because so who's got who let's go around the room here. John, where do you have Jonathan Taylor? What number do you have him ranked?
5th.
1, 2, 3, 4. Anthony, where's Jonathan Taylor?
7.
I have him at 6. I have him like 2 tiers down from my he's in my tier 4 actually. So Danny,
He's in my tier 2, but my tier 2 runs like 2 through 6.
okay, where do you have Breece?
4.
4. Okay, I have him at 2. So these guys, I'm sorry, I have him at 3. These guys have him at 2. I have him at 3, and you have him at 4. So who do you have at 2, Danny? No, I'm
JT.
sorry, at 3.
Robinson.
Bijan. Okay.
Yeah, he's done.
Anthony, where do you have Bijan?
3.
John?
Same.
3. Interesting. So
Where do you have it? 3.
I have it CMC, Bijan, Breece.
Okay.
So it looks like we basically have Bijan and Breece flipped, except for Danny, who's the wild card here. Jonathan Taylor is a very interesting pick there. Okay, so let's see. We got where do you have Breece, Danny? 4?
4.
Yeah. Okay, so John, who do you have at 4?
Saquon.
Anthony, where do you have Saquon?
At 4.
You do also. Wow. Danny, what about you?
6.
6. I have him at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have him right behind Jonathan Taylor. Interesting. I don't know how we're gonna like conglomerate these.
Who do you have
numbers.
at 5, Dave?
Well, my 4. So I have Jahmyr Gibbs at 4.
I have Gibbs at 5.
You have Gibbs at 5. Where do you guys have Gibbs, Anthony and John?
After Barkley, I have Kyron and then Gibbs.
Oh, sorry. I have Barkley 7. I have Williams 6. Sorry.
Okay. John?
I have Jahmyr Gibbs at 9.
What? Where do you have Kyron Williams?
7th.
Jesus Christ. All right, hold on. All right, so let's just discuss these guys that we've just talked about right now. What do we need to change about the list that we see right here? Moving up Taylor and Barkley above Gibbs and Kyron?
I wouldn't. I mean, Taylor, I would, but not Barkley. That's me.
Gibbs. I'm not like low on, but he's still going to be sharing that work with Montgomery. He's got that. He's going to have PPR monster, but I couldn't rank him above Barkley, who is getting the workload, and Kyron. Even though they drafted that rookie, I mean, he's just going to give him a break. He's still a monster.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Gibbs being there.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so John, you had him at 9. He's at 7 right now. That's not a huge discrepancy, right?
No, that I totally fine if you want to move him up there. I'm perfectly fine.
Okay. Danny, you mentioned that you had a tier with a bunch of guys that were in it for you. Are there any of those guys that we haven't mentioned yet?
No, that 2 through 7, and now we go to the next one. This is actually a perfect stop, a place to cut it. These were your top 7, right?
Yes, but I still have 3 more. I have 3 more guys in a tier because like, okay, so my tier goes CMC, and then it goes Brees and Bijan. That's a tier, and then I have all of these guys. No, I'm sorry. I have Gibbs and Kyron in a tier, and then I have Taylor and Barkley in a tier with 3 other guys. So I don't know if Anthony and John, did you guys tier yours as well? Or you just
no, I just kind of ranked it.
Okay, so
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Roger that. All right, so the next 3 guys. Well, let's see. Okay, let's see. So
Travis
who's
Etienne.
ETN? Okay, that's exactly who I have written down next. Does anybody have anybody other than ETN coming up?
I have ATN as well.
We all have ATN next on our list?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. Okay, who do you have next?
I have Rashad White.
Same.
Wow. Okay. Danny, who do you have next?
Mixon.
Interesting. All right. I have Derrick Henry next.
I had him right after.
What'd you say, Dan?
I have him next.
And John, where do you have Derrick Henry?
I have Derrick Henry at 13 for me.
He's far down. Let's see. I see. I have. Okay, so I have I have Henry. So I'm going to throw Henry up here so we can Henry.
I'm
Yeah,
fine
I'm
with
having
that.
with my next.
I'm
I
fine
couldn't
with that.
pick
as
whether
well.
I'm hit with him or White, so like they're the next for me.
So who? Henry, White, and Mixon were the other two guys who were mentioned, right?
Yep.
Uh,
I have Mixon after anyway, so
Okay. See, I still have one player before these guys. It's like in that tier I was discussing. I
Who's
still
that?
have Pacheco. I have Pacheco
Hi.
between like your Henry and your Mixon and your White. That's where I dropped
I
Pacheco.
have
You guys
actually
have
have
Pacheco.
him 11th.
Say again.
I have him next.
Okay, you have him next.
yeah, I'm good with
Anthony,
that.
where do you?
I'm good with that as well.
I had one person in between Pacheco after, so I'm good with that.
I had him like right after Henry.
Yeah, it went. Yeah, for me it was after Mixon. It went Pacheco and then Kenny Walker.
Okay, yeah. See, I have my next tier. So my tier, just to put a bow on it, was Taylor, Barkley, ATN, Henry, and Pacheco, and then I had Mixon coming up. Right, we talked about him. Rashad White closes that tier, the tier we're talking about right now, and Ken Walker was right in there as well. John, do you have those guys in the similar area, or do you have somebody else lined up?
I have Alvin Kamara
Oh,
in
boy.
that bunch.
Wow. Danny, who do you have anybody else that we didn't mention? Mixon, Walker, White.
Just Jacobs and Jones.
I have Jacobs next after Walker.
I have
Jacobs and Jones, you said? This is where it's going to
Jacobs
start.
at I have Walker down a little bit lower.
Okay. So before we get that's where I have my Jacobs, my Jones, my Kamara as well. Who do you have? Is there anybody else that you have? Mixon, Walker, White. Anybody else you have before them? I have
No.
Just
Achan.
I have
Just
him
Jacobs
after
and Jones.
Jacobs.
I'm sorry, Danny. What did you say?
I just have Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs ahead of him.
Jones and Jacobs. Whoops.
And I have it Jacobs, Achan, Jones.
Jones, Jacobs. Achan.
Like it so far.
Danny, who's next for you?
Well, Walker at 15.
Okay.
We already got Walker.
16.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I have Kamara at 17. Stevenson at 18.
Stevenson. Okay, so now
Ramondre.
I have
he
Stevenson.
just got paid.
Yeah, see, I have Stevenson a little bit higher than this. Stevenson, like I have him before Jacobs, before Kamara, before Jones. So let's just take a breath here. Mixon, White, Pacheco. Is there anything here? Walker, Jones, Jacobs, Kamara, Achan, Stevenson. See, I would lobby to move Stevenson up a little bit. I think he's going to be the lead. Going to get a lot of work on that team.
I'm fine with it. I had him after. So.
I'm gonna
I would
lobby
be fine.
for Josh Jacobs to move up a little bit.
I would be fine bumping Ken Walker down a little bit.
I'm fine with that, but I have him lower.
Swap Walker and Jacobs. Stevenson and Kamara.
I'm gonna actually see. What if I do this?
Jacob Stevenson,
Bang.
Jones, Walker.
That
Kyle,
works.
right?
That works.
I'm good with that.
Okay, cool. So let's see.
Don't forget, they still got Mostert over there.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, and he's actually coming up on my list right now. I would like to
32.
mention who's your next guy, and anybody got a next guy to nominate?
James Conner.
Okay, he's coming up on my list. I have two guys ahead of him. I got two guys ahead of Connor. Anybody have somebody
I
ahead
have-
of Connor?
Montgomery.
Interesting. Danny, do you have anybody ahead of Connor or Montgomery?
No, I have Connor.
You have Connor. I have Zach
I have
Moss.
Monty a little lower. Moss
Zach
is a
Moss
good one.
is after Montgomery
So we're gonna go Connor.
for me. So like, I'm fine with you putting Zach Moss first.
Moss. And then, so now let's talk about Montgomery. Danny, where do you have Montgomery? How much lower?
I only went down to 20, and I don't have him in my top 20. But I have a bunch of names that didn't crack my top 20, and he's in that list. So honorable mention, if you will.
Okay.
Low 20s, he would fall in that 20-25 zone. I
Well,
just
I feel
think
like there's going to be two
Harry
teams
Kirk
every
did a
year
little
that
bit
finish.
of that.
You guys talked over each other. I didn't hear what you said.
Sorry.
Say it, Danny. I talk over
Oh, I
everybody.
just think that the separation, I think Gibbs will start to get a little bit more work just because he's better and younger.
Yeah, see, I agree. I had Montgomery at 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25.
I was going to say James Cook.
I had Gibbs as the highest of all of us. I had him at 4. So and for that reason, I had Montgomery way down. So let's see here. I'm going to throw Montgomery's name on here, but I think, once we do a little shimmy shake, we might shift him down.
Yeah,
a
he
little
was
bit.
my 20. I figured, like, every year there's like two teams that have two RBs in the top 25. So I had Montgomery at 20, and then I had what's his name at 25. Oh, easy there. Just Mostert at 25.
Okay.
Just because he's 32, I think, this year. So a little
Montgomery.
skeptical on the age.
Mostert or Montgomery?
Mostert.
Mostert. Yeah, he's a little bit older, but he started a little bit later too. Okay, so names we need to mention. We have Zach Moss. We have David Montgomery. Are there any other names? We mentioned James Conner.
James Cook.
I was about
James
to say
Cook.
the same name. James Cook. I had Cook obviously above Montgomery, but I had him in the range of Conner and Moss. And then this is where I have Mostert.
Mostert didn't crack my top 30.
Really?
Yeah. I think Mostert, this is the season where he finally gives it up to like Echan and like Jalen Wright or something like that.
Your mom gives him.
Interesting. So you think he just completely runs out of gas this year and it's over for him?
32's
Wow.
old, man, for a running back. Unless you're Frank
Interesting.
Gore or
He would
Adrian
have
Peterson.
He would have to hit a pretty abrupt wall to just completely fall off because he scored like 20 touchdowns last year. That's a bold take, I think. Danny, where do you have Mostert?
I am at
You
20.
said- Yeah, I'm at 20. Okay. See, we're Anthony, what about you?
25.
25. Who do you have ahead of him?
Ahead of Mostert, I have Zamir White ahead of him. I honestly just I just wrote Pittsburgh running back because I don't know which one.
Najee or I'm
Najee or Warren.
I'm
Because I
higher on
heard like a
Jalen
flaky
Warren.
thing where it's like Najee could be a trade candidate this year, and I'm like, I don't know, but I feel like one of them. I don't have any of the Chargers in the top 30.
Shame.
I have one at 30. Danny, where are you on Zamir White? Is this around where you?
I have him in my like 10 guys that would fall in 20 to 30. He would be in the earlier part of that.
So that's right. That's right where we're at right now. John, what
Yeah,
about
he
you?
would be right where he should be, right around here.
John, you good with this?
I'm fine with that. Javonte Williams.
I have Williams coming up, but I actually have Harris right here. So, Anthony mentioned the Pittsburgh running back. I have Harris right here. John, you said you were leaning more toward Warren. Danny, where do you land in the as far as Pittsburgh running backs are concerned?
I would take Warren, but I have him very, very flip a coin. I mean, they're kind of frustrating in that sense.
It's going to be the third string running back that gets all the touchdowns. A guy that we're not talking about.
Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yeah, for real. It's going to be like me with the Bills last year when James Cook just runs it up the field and they hand it off to like 39-year-old DeMarco Murray.
Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I know. I said it because it was even an older one.
Latavius.
It's like you hand it over to a skeleton. Sorry.
I have a good question for people. Where do you rank Jonathan Brooks?
He made my honorable mentions.
Yeah, because to me, it's like he's coming off the ACL, so I think it's going to be a slow start to the season.
And he's on a bad team.
That too.
Not going to have a lot of touchdown upside.
I have two names that crack my top 30.
Well, hold on a second here. We're about at 25 right now. So John mentioned Javonte. John mentioned Javonte Williams. Does anybody have? Because I basically have one name that we haven't mentioned before Javonte Williams. Anthony, do you have anybody before what I put Williams on the board that you'd like to bring up?
I don't have Williams in my top 30.
Oh, interesting. Danny, where are you on Javonte Williams?
He's back end of the 20, like middle back 20s.
Okay, so where do you guys? So what about the name DeAndre Swift? Would you consider him above Javonte Williams?
I'm okay
he
with
would
that.
be in the earlier part of the 20s.
Yeah, he's next for me.
Okay, so I threw Swift before Javonte. And then now we have two more. We're at 28, so we have 29 and 30 to pop in here.
Devin Singletary.
I have that's okay. Devin Singletary and Jerome Ford are the last two for me.
John, who were your last two? Singletary and who?
It's going to be Singletary, and this is going to be one that's going to be controversial. Tony Pollard.
It's not too controversial.
No, I think Danny, I'm actually higher on Tajee Spears.
Danny, who else you got on your little list there?
No, I just say I had Spears and everybody else we've mentioned.
I have Brian Robinson and Gus Edwards.
Okay.
The Gus bus.
We like Gus.
So, and then my honorable mentions that I have here: Jonathan Brooks, Marshawn Lloyd, Trey Benson, Devin Singletary, Tony Pollard, Jerome Ford. So I'm in favor of putting Singletary because I know you guys had him. And then our final guy, who do we like? Brian Robinson, Gus Edwards, Tony Pollard, or Jerome Ford?
I'm good with Robinson or Ford.
I'll actually go with Ford.
I don't
think Chubb just comes back from that, and you know what I mean.
You said Danny. You said who?
I would go Robinson just because he doesn't have Chubb coming back.
And I would also go Robinson.
I'm fine with either or there.
So okay, Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley.
Terrible. Kyron Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Etienne, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Rashad White, Isaiah Pacheco, Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson, Aaron Jones, Ken Walker, Alvin Kamara, Devon Achane, James Conner, Zach Moss, David Montgomery, James Cook, Raheem Mostert, Zamir White, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, DeAndre Swift, Javonte Williams, Devin Singletary, and Brian Robinson Jr. It's a pretty solid list. That.
Not bad.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid list. You know, there's a point at which the guys. I mean, to me, when I was trying to rank certain guys, it was a question of do they have the majority of the work, or are they in a timeshare? Are they, you know, I mean, it's simple questions, basic questions, but like a guy like Devin Singletary, he does have appeal because it seems like even if he's going to be on a team that's not so great, he's pretty much the lead dog. You know what I mean? So he's a guy who's, you know, he gets a little bit of an edge in these situations because it's more and more rare that there's one person or one player who gets the majority of the work.
All right.
Do you guys want to do a draft or you wanted to wrap it up?
I could do a draft.
I'll probably wrap it up only because I'm kind of falling asleep because I'm tired. But I'm down to do it. When are we going to do? Were we going to do? Obviously, we're going to do the draft. Where is the draft going to be again? Did we figure that out? Okay. That we're gonna. Are we gonna do another podcast before the draft?
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Depends on what time we get together.
Yeah.
I would think so. I mean, it's a month and a half.
Yeah, maybe after some training camp battles, or maybe one.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do one or two more podcasts.
Yeah, because guys haven't even gotten hurt yet. I hate to say it, but some of these guys are going to be done for the year by the next time we talk. Well, maybe not on the, but guys, you know, throughout the league are going to get hurt, and there's, you know, it's football. So yeah, we should shoot for like middle of August sometime or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's early July, so maybe late July and then mid August.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, like a week before the draft.
Yeah.
And then what we can do is sort of like our loose plan can be next time we do next show we do the top 40 wide receivers. We do wide receiver 1, 2s, and 3s, and then the following show
next one we can do
quarterbacks and tight ends.
Yeah.
Top 12 of each.
Yeah.
Freaking Caleb Williams ranking is ridiculous.
Calm down, John. Calm down.
All right, Luis is going to draft him.
He already told us who he's drafting. He's drafting Saquon.
So he went ahead and did it. So he's really doing Saquon first.
And Brock Bowers.
Oh
yeah.
Well, that's it. Saquon first. Saquon first isn't even the dumbest pick he made. Like,
no, because you could arguably say, all right, listen, I think Christian McCaffrey's going to have an off year, or this is the year he's down, and I'm really high on Barkley. Sure, you want to argue that, fine, but yeah, oh my god.
Well, also consider
we disagree. How about we all agree that every pick he makes is tied for the worst pick?
That's true, and also like he
makes so many.
It's not like he plugged in all the keepers or even his own keeper, which means that he actively drafted Kincaid in a draft slot, which obviously.
Well, what about if Bowers gets hurt?
And then also drafted Bowers. Like, what kind of a mock draft even is that?
Let him keep doing those. He thinks he's doing good. It's great.
Well, when you're sitting there with all your running backs and receivers, and his tight end hurts, and he has something to take it.
John is drafting 2 picks behind this Momo, and he's going to get all the benefits of. Oh man, I can't wait for this guy to fall to me. He's going to fall to me because somebody's going to,
How is it a benefit? In the 3rd round, when John goes to draft Brock Bowers and he's already drafted, how is that a benefit?
Yeah,
he's making dumb picks.
The more bad picks people make, the more good players there are for the rest of us. So just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Let people do their thing.
Yeah, but Luis is. I mean, you could start a reel of just playing like throughout his storied fantasy career, like different trades and draft picks and text messages he sent.
Like a reel.
So far, it's only been one set. It's only been one season. He's already sent me some gems. He's already sent me.
That's what I mean. And I'm sure if he did, I'm sure he's been in other leagues. You could probably do some digging. There's probably there's got to be material there.
I told you this before. He told me that there was one league that he was in that he tried to overthrow the commissioner, tried to depose the commissioner. Yeah. I told him, try that in our league.
What for?
For what do you mean? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the reasoning was. I guess he thought he wasn't doing a good job, and he could do a better job.
I'd love to get that. I'd love to get that story.
Is he actually coming to the draft? Like, did he confirm that?
Yeah.
Anthony, please don't have a chair next to me.
John, you're sitting right next to him.
No, bro. Him and Bobby are going to sit next to each other. Will you stop with the madness?
I'm going to have a Luis chair. It's in the corner, facing the corner.
In a different room.
Yeah, in the bathroom. Coffee cake. Put him in the fucking bathroom.
Oh, shoot.
Too good.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse for anybody not to make it. John's flying.
Yeah, for real. John kind of took the excuses away for everybody else. If Florida man can do it, anybody can.
I said that a few weeks ago. I saw Mike Dahl at like a baseball thing. Like I guess his kid plays baseball. We at the same field or whatever. And I was like, "Oh man, you coming to the draft?" He's like, "I don't know." I was like, "John's coming. You came last year. You got no fucking excuse." I said, "I was like, Narc might show up." He's like, "Really?" I was like, "I don't know. Maybe."
Probably not.
You know that, like, that would be something if Narc showed up. I haven't seen Narkowitz in years.
I don't remember the last time I
since
saw
the
him.
last time. It's a long time.
I haven't seen Narkowitz in like 10 years.
That's all right. You play fantasy football with him every year. It's fine.
That's true.
Same
But he
thing.
also doesn't talk to anybody. But he did do his first trade. So
Super exciting. John, you gonna want to trade right after the draft again this year? Or?
This year, I ain't changed shit. Especially where I'm drafting. If I do it, I'd be dumb to do that. I'm drafting around a bunch of momos. Come on.
Well, yeah, you
could be a Momo yourself.
This is what Luis is gonna do every time I draft somebody. Terrible. Oh, terrible.
Yeah, and then let him pick 3 tight ends. Go ahead. Him and Mike Dahl are going to draft more than half the tight ends in the league.
All right, boys.
You're gonna stay
Danny?
on, Danny?
No, I'm
Danny,
I'm bound. But I will talk to you guys soon. Good evening.
All
Have
right.
a good
Have
night.
a good one.
Peace.
Talk to you later,
Thank
bro.
you. Later.
All right, fellas. So we are at the 1-9. We have the 9th pick in this draft.
All right, good. I got to pee real quick. We got time, right? Before it starts.
30 seconds.
That's all I need. That's why I'm single.
Because you can pee fast?
Yeah, I was confused on that.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. We don't get a good view here, unfortunately.
But
of, like,
that
the
would be
players.
cool to reach out to Narkowitz. I just don't know Narkowitz's number or whatever, but it would be cool to reach out and be like, yo, we would love if you could make it that night. Because that's going to be an epic night.
Yeah, I will text him. I have to text basically everybody, anyway, before the season starts, just to make sure everybody's on board and all this other stuff. So I'll text him and make sure that he knows he's invited.
I'm going, by the way, I already got tickets for Jets Jaguars.
Nice.
I already go in
That's
there.
cool. This will be your first time at that stadium, right?
No, I've been there. I was at the Jaguars 49ers game last year, and when they got spanked like 40 something to like 10.
Christian McCaffrey, C.D. Lamb, Tyreek Hill. First 3 picks off the board.
I wonder if Bobby passes on McCaffrey and he falls to you, John.
No
That would.
way.
You don't think he goes receiver right there?
Why are you saying this? What we've talked about this already. Why are you doing this? It took us like we stopped saying this, and now you're just completely doing it again.
Yeah, I'm already convinced. I'm already convinced that
I'm not allowing it.
That I'm gonna get CD Lamb, and I'm
You're
fine
not
with
allowing
CD
it?
Lamb.
Don't do this to this guy. You're getting Christian McCaffrey's going number 2. John kept saying it for like 2 weeks, and I was like, you got to stop saying it. It's not going to happen. And now suddenly you're trying to put the thought back in his head. That's not nice of you. It's not nice.
Hey, he can go CD Lamb too.
You're being mean. Okay, so here we come. We got Breece Hall sitting here, and then we got a bunch of decent receivers. Okay, Puka gone. So what do you want? You want AJ Brown or Breece Hall? I think we take Breece Hall here, and then we get one of the receivers on the come around. Right?
I'm cool.
I'll take Breece.
Let's do this. And then just hope
So
a good
Anthony,
receiver
let me
falls
ask you
to
this,
us.
because this draft is definitely going to be wide receiver heavy.
Yeah.
In the early beginning, so you got to kind of get what you got to get. But I do think that some guys are just gonna get confused after a while.
Are you talking about the draft
Yeah,
we're in right now, or our draft, our league draft?
Our draft.
So you think some guys are going to get confused? Timed out.
Yeah, like you're gonna see a guy that drafts like 3 quarterbacks this year, or 3 tight ends. Like it's
Well,
just
you're gonna
weird.
have at least 2 guys that draft 2 tight ends this year, which is great for us.
I think Dahl is going to end up keeping a tight end.
Oh, he changed it from was it Khalil Shakir or whatever?
No, that's not Dahl. That's Will. Dahl.
No, Will
I
is
believe-
Rashid.
Rashid.
Dahl would be Khalil Shakir. Yeah.
Evan Ingram.
All
Evan
right.
Ingram.
Really? He's keepable?
Yeah.
He was drafted late.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram.
All right,
I mean,
who-
over
Drake London or
Drake
Nico
London or
Collins.
Ayuk.
Not Ayuk. I don't trust that situation. Drake London or Nico Collins.
Drake London.
All right.
Too many mouths to feed over there. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, there are a lot of mouths to feed. I think that each guy
At
is
least
going to have a good week.
I'm not saying Nico's not good, but I'd rather choose London over that position. It's like London and Pitts, and then nobody really else.
Yeah, the target.
It can't
company.
get worse than it was last year with Arthur Smith.
Well, it could. That Achilles, brother.
Don't do that.
Sorry.
We just drafted the guy, and you're already injuring him.
Are you kidding me? I'm the 9th spot. I made so many mock drafts. I have London's there.
In the second round.
Yeah, second for the Nines, like London's always there, and I put in all of the keepers too.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
there's only
the only
like
way to say that again.
there's only a handful that really affect the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, but I like to think that the computer also drafts with the knowing like okay, I have a quarterback. I'm not going to draft a quarterback type thing. You know what I mean?
Well, it doesn't.
Like,
That's what's fucked up.
yeah, it's still always drafts 2 quarterbacks, which is retarded.
I think we'll also have 2 people to draft 2 quarterbacks in our league.
I think I think there'll probably be people that draft 2 quarterbacks. I agree with that.
And like, there's going to be more than one, and somebody's going to draft like 2 arguable top 12 quarterbacks.
You mean like spend high picks on quarterbacks, like 2 of them? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That
Like
might be
I have Will being I'm gonna project that Will will be the first one to grab a quarterback, and he'll have Josh Allen.
Well, I could see
it's not unreasonable given ADP. I mean, that's
given
that's
ADP, and
Josh
also
Allen.
you could
last
like
year.
Yeah, but he has Kincaid. He could stack that with Kincaid. I could see that.
No.
No, he doesn't have Kincaid. Luis has Kincaid.
Oh, you're talking about Will? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Will. I'm talking about Will drafting Josh Allen.
Well, it's not a bad idea if you're trying to like, because if you want to stack him with a receiver, all the receivers are like deep.
Yeah, I mean, I could see either this. Will, when that turnaround happens, either he drafts like a Derrick Henry of the world or something like that. Like he gets like Tyreek Hill, for an example. He comes back around, gets like a Derrick Henry or something like that, and then comes back around and he's able to get Josh Allen because I'm not drafting Josh Allen. And I also think that Luis will probably try to draft every single Philadelphia Eagle he can. So he's going to try to draft like Jalen Hurts or something like that.
Well, he'll have
opportunities.
Oh, yeah, we're coming up.
So Neighbors, Metcalf. Oh, never mind. Neighbors, DJ Moore, and then you got Diggs Dell. Neighbors, DJ Moore. Hopefully, one of those 2 guys falls to us.
Yeah, I like it again. I like Neighbors. I just think there's all the work for him.
I'm gonna go with Neighbors too.
Okay, we're gonna get either Neighbors or DJ Moore. Boom. What do you think, Neighbors, guys?
Yeah,
or DJ
Neighbors.
Moore? John?
Neighbors.
I'm Neighbors. Yeah.
All right, let's do Neighbors.
You'll always be my neighbor.
So now we have Drake London and Malik Neighbors with Breece Hall. We're doing good so far. And we have 5 picks away.
Can I say why I say will draft like that? Because Mike Doe, in my opinion, in the second round will get Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce will get grabbed in the second.
I don't think Travis Kelce is a second round pick.
He goes in like the third.
John, we're in an underdog draft right now, and it's about to be the 4th round, and Travis Kelce's still on the board. Like,
yeah.
What are we going?
We have what, like 3 players, 4 players in the top 15 that are keepers.
So,
what do you guys think of?
When does Dahl draft a tight end then?
In the 4-5 and the 8-9.
He's keeping a tight end. So he's only going to draft.
So he's going to draft Mark Andrews in the 4th.
He's a big Mark Andrews guy. You want to take Amari Cooper here? We got T. Higgins.
Well,
Amari Cooper.
I love me some Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take Cooper over Higgins.
Me too. All right, so now we have a nice little receiver core going here, and a Breece Hall to anchor our running back room. I like this build so far. So now, and we don't really have quarterbacks. We can get like late quarterback stacks, but nothing that I'm like dying to get.
No, it's the receivers. We have London,
Malik Neighbors, and so your highest QB is Richardson. No, not Richardson. Not Watson. No.
Who are you talking about? Watson, but Watson's very, very late. He's a very late quarterback.
Yeah, all our QBs for our receivers are late.
Yeah, and super sexy. So maybe we'll get one or two of them as our second or third quarterback if we do 3 quarterbacks.
Well, you got to get at least one. Yeah, I'm down with that at the second.
You have to get at least one.
No, one of the stacks. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
you want to ideally get a better QB. What are we on? How many QBs have been taken? 2?
Well,
3?
if we can get it depends. If we get a good one, then
no. How many are have been taken
overall?
We got time, right? Yeah, we're at Mahomes is the next top guy.
Yeah, we still have 11. So
I'm just seeing where we are with what's left. I mean,
we have Drake London. I don't think I want to. Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. Because we have the opportunity right now to take a tight end, but I think all these guys are going to be gone by the time we pick. How would you guys? Pardon?
Grabbing Josh Jacobs.
Well, I'm saying realistically, with Breece Hall as high as you drafted him, there's still a lot of RBs left, depending on if you want to pick a onesie position right now.
Right.
What's tight ends and Lamar as a QB is available? That's nice.
Yeah, Lamar, Mahomes. So quarterbacks are being pushed down. So we could probably, and then you got Anthony Richardson sitting there.
I'd rather do, if we're gonna pick a onesie, I'd probably rather go QB first.
Oh, QB? I thought you were gonna say.
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking tight ends. There's a couple I like. We all have different opinions on tight ends. You know what I mean? As for a little bit later, I'm high on a what the fuck is his name? Dallas.
Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson.
Yeah. Fergalicious area. A Njoku, a Schultz.
Yeah, see, Schultz is another one. I mean, he's talk about mouths to feed, Well,
I meant in that area of tight ends, your Schultz, your Njoku, you got a Kincaid.
Getting Njoku, we'd have to definitely get Deshaun Watson in that scenario.
Oh yeah, it's Cleveland heavy and
Trey McBride.
Delicious.
Yeah, look at all these tight ends falling. Let's just hope that one of these 3 guys falls to us, and then we don't have to worry about it.
Oh my god! Imagine where you're able to get Mark Andrews and Lamar in the turns.
No way, that's impossible. But if we end up pulling one of these 3 tight ends, McBride.
Well, that's what I mean. Matt, right now, you say it comes up.
Run on tight ends. Oh no, 2 of these guys.
You pull Mark Andrews and it goes on a run. How old is Mark Andrews though? I'm a little scared.
653. The thing is, he's old in injury years.
Yeah, he's been beat up.
Yes. Lamar auto pick.
Lamar just got auto picked.
Yep. Kyle Pitts. Ooh, wow, interesting. Took a little bit of a reach on Kyle Pitts, which means that one of Andrews or baby. Who do we get?
Andrews or who?
Kincaid. I think I want Kincaid.
Yeah, I'll take Kincaid.
What do you think, Anthony?
No stacking choices, just tight end. Yeah, I think I'd go Kincaid. Just because there's so many up in the airs with their receivers. It's they paid Curtis Samuel, but you got Keon Coleman, but he's gonna need a little time.
Yeah, I think Dalton Kincaid could be their leading receiver, so to speak. It could be the not. He is Dalton Kincaid is not Travis Kelce,
Right.
but just like Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce, Kincaid could be the number one receiver for his team.
So you had the choice between the two?
What do you mean?
Like at the pick, you were able to pick between Kincaid and Andrews, or it was just
Andrews? Yeah, and I picked Kincaid, and Andrews went right after. So I mean, I'm sure that if we had picked Andrews, Kincaid would have went right after. So we're coming back around.
Were you looking at RB receiver?
None of these
Nixon's
receivers
there.
really, yeah,
DeAndre
Nixon,
Hopkins. I know you don't like him, but
Nixon gone. Yeah, I don't like him. I'm not picking him.
Dante Johnson.
We could pick Christian Watson and then try to get Love later.
Ooh, I like that one. It's good.
No, nothing, Anthony.
What'd you say?
You didn't hear what I
What'd you
said?
say? No, I heard something and then Love.
I was running out of time, so I picked him.
What'd you pick?
So I picked Christian Watson.
I was okay with Christian Watson. I like it.
If he could stay healthy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a really weird injury.
Yeah, like.
Well, did you hear what it was?
Like, didn't he have like an abnormality of like his body? I don't know.
It was what happened was, and it was very similar to, I think it was Alvin Kamara or somebody else. Their leg muscles in one leg were stronger than the other. He had a strong leg and a weak leg. And so the weak leg was always getting the hamstring pulls because it wasn't able to keep up with strong leg. So he like worked out. He had like a whole like physical therapy regimen to strengthen the other leg so that now both of his legs are the same. It was like something like a significant percent weaker on the one leg than the other leg because the muscles were strong. So it just kept, it was like, I guess at some point he must have gotten an injury. The leg healed up, but he lost a lot of muscle, you know what I mean? And then he just never caught back up again. And it just was one of those things where it just kept getting worse and worse and worse instead of better because he kept getting injured.
Did he ever have an ACL injury?
No, it was just always hamstring.
Well, because I understand that once you said like the muscle differential. When I had ACL surgery, to do the surgery, they like a tourniquet and they kill the thigh muscle, and then after the surgery, there was a 2-inch difference in my thighs. I had to gain 2 inches of muscle in a month. So I was like, maybe.
It's that phenomenon. It's that theory where he had the injury. I presume that at some point he had some sort of injury in the beginning that weakened him like that, like you're saying, where he lost a significant enough amount of muscle where it just fall and it never actually caught back up. So now they caught back up. So it's like a bet where this could be the year where he actually like stays on the field and plays pretty well. All right, so here we go.
Supposed to be the number one.
If he's on the field, yeah, he's electric. Boogie woogie.
So we don't have to take him at this first pick. Maybe now's a good time to think about David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Najee Harris.
Aaron Jones. I'm big on Aaron Jones this year.
You're big on Aaron Jones every year. I dig it. I dig Aaron Jones over the other two.
In our rankings.
I mean, he's the only one there.
No, David Montgomery's here. Oh, you mean
No.
I know what you mean. Sorry.
Yeah, because Madison's gone. Oh, Ty Chandler, right?
Ty Chandler, yeah.
There's somebody else there, right? But I think that he'll be the workhorse, or at least get most of the work, like you're saying.
And with a rookie quarterback that'll be starting. Or Sam Darnold.
If he's not there, do you like a Jonathan Brooks? Do you like a Zamir White, a Jalen Warren?
I like Zamir White out of the bunch.
Oh, he's there. He's there.
James Conner, not bad neither. Yep.
I'm so scared. Like I'm super high on Trey Benson. Like I think, just James Conner gets an injury for a couple of weeks and then gives the kid a chance and then starts to, slowly cut into that time. So wait, we have some time for Love or no?
Love, I mean, I think it's like he would be in the middle of the next round.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, never mind.
How many QBs ahead of him?
But I think we might want to lock him down on this next pick.
I agree.
How many picks do we
have? Long wait. We have the long wait after this pick.
So 5 picks until we pick again, and then there's only 3 ahead. Yeah, you might not make it. And what it looks like here, there's 1, 2, a few people without a QB. One person, a few people, yeah. And that's all you need is just one person to take that QB, and then like somebody else wants to like lock in another one. There's like at least 3 people without a QB still. So
there's enough time. Okay, we're on the clock. Yeah, and he's right there, so we're gonna grab him.
And now it's just RB wide receiver the rest of the way.
And another tight end. So let's look at the tight end list right now. We like Njoku, right?
Yep.
Schultz isn't terrible.
Hawkinson's fell completely, huh? That injury?
Injury, a very bad injury late in the season. So I think he's going to miss a considerable amount. He probably will go like on PUP or whatever it is and miss the first blah, blah, blah games of the season. Oh, this guy, Noah Fan's been getting a lot of like press.
Really?
Yeah. And there's the guy in Denver too is getting a lot of.
Who's that?
What's it?
I'll tell you who I'm also a little.
Yeah, Dolchich. Yeah.
Like how a little late round sleeper situation. I'm a lot of 3 tight ends. I grab Musgrave every time if I do 3 tight ends.
Oh, that's right. Good call because we have Jordan Love. That's a good call. He's better than the other guys. Well, maybe not Njoku. If we could get Njoku and Musgrave and then get Watson, which, by the way, let me mark him real quick.
Also, we can also look to get Romeo Dobbs.
I've done some. This isn't somebody I would do it, but like just for your own, I throw in a little Tyler Conklin. I have a little jelly feel about Conklin.
What do you guys think of Jerry Jeudy this year?
It's hard to believe. Honestly, it's hard to believe in anybody. Oh wait, yeah, no, he's on Cleveland. Yeah, no, it's hard to believe in anybody. Honestly, like Amari Cooper is pretty much the only Cleveland Browns guy that I can really feel confident in picking. Even
him and Ford and Njoku, I'm okay with Ford just because I really just see he did a pretty decent job last year, and I just can't see Chubb coming back to like any sort of significant like role.
There's a big question mark. Like, obviously, that team is really built on like what can Deshaun Watson do?
Nothing. He's dead.
We'll see.
Because it's just like, what a fall from grace, this guy.
Yeah, Tiger Woods-esque.
Yeah, I mean, and then relating back to your Daniel Jones question with the Giants, like who knows? Like, there's a couple. Not that you want him, but you don't know what happens in the offseason, right? Like, Justin Fields, is he going to be still with the Steelers? Your Dak Prescott's. There's a couple. I have a feeling. I have a feeling that depending on this year and how it goes, like Harbaugh might shop out Herbert.
No,
not for some capital. You can get a first round for him.
And then what? Do what? Draft another quarterback? Like what
Multiple things.
No, man. I don't think. Okay, hold on a second. We got a pick coming up here. Dobbs is sitting there.
Well, that's too many Green Bay Packers now.
No,
We only
have one. We have one.
You got Christian Watson.
And Christian Watson, right. We have one player. That's it.
That's a lot of players.
What do you mean?
How many RBs we have? We have 2 RBs.
Yeah. 5
Who'd you draft?
receivers. Romeo Dobbs. What do you mean?
Nice.
Okay, so here we go. We got Javonte Williams, Tajay Spears, Singletary. I don't really like Corum here. Gus Edwards.
Out of the names of RBs, you like, I have Singletary the highest.
John, where are you?
I'm fine with Singletary. I like Singletary here.
He did pretty good when he took over in Houston.
To be honest with you, the reason why I'm high on Singletary is because I think the Giants' defense is going to hold. He just went? Fuck.
Yeah, he got picked.
I like Tajay Spears.
Javonte Williams, Zamir White's gone.
Gus Edwards.
Tajay Spears is the top.
Tajay Spears
Gus
just got
Bus is there. Jerome Ford.
Jerome Ford, like I said, I'm high on him though. I do like a little late.
Edwards or Ford?
Zach Moss there?
No,
it's Chase Brown.
Took Jerome Ford. We were running out of time.
I like it.
Yeah.
Do they buy
Not
like
excited.
is Chubb gonna be like ready for week 1?
No.
No, Chubb will be back in like week 4, 5. They're saying.
John, you heard it here first, kids. Oh. I guess you just hope.
That's what I guess I'm predicting because they said that like his recovery's going well, but they're not going to rush him, and they have Jerome Ford. So
Yeah, you remember what that looked like. I wouldn't rush him.
it was gross.
I regret that.
You sure, bro? You sure you could walk again?
I should have picked Gus. If I had it to do over, I would pick Gus Edwards there.
Over Ford?
Yeah. Because I feel like
Nah.
Ford could lose his job midway through the season. Gus Edwards, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be the goal line back the whole year. I think I'm in it there. I think Edwards, there he goes. Edwards is the next running back off the board. I think Edwards versus Ford is a mistake. My bad.
Right.
My bad.
It's not your bad. We liked the other way. We persuaded you.
Yeah. Okay, you guys fucked up.
Take the job from Zach Moss because a lot of people we haven't talked about Chase Brown.
I think there's a possibility that at the end of the year he could be fighting to take over.
I think that's a situation where you have the next Charbonnet or whatever the hell his name is in Charbonnet.
Charbonnet. What
Charbonnet.
does that
yeah,
mean? The next Charbonnet. What do you mean by that?
Like that situation where Zach Moss is just too good and just holds him off.
Oh, yeah. See, I think that, well, first of all, I think they might be slightly different style of player where they could both sort of coexist. If Zach are traditional runner, early down runner, and then Chase Brown gets mixed in on passing downs and stuff like that. I think they can pretty easily coexist in a timeshare. They won't be fun for fantasy or too exciting for fantasy that way, but that could definitely happen. I just think that Moss will end up with like the lion's share of it and be more fantasy relevant than Chase Brown. But if Moss was to get hurt, Chase Brown would probably be a stud.
Yeah, like so this year, like I don't know why, but Zeke's ADP is way too high, and I think they're just going to use him for pass blocking. Like they're just going to throw the shit out of the ball this year.
No, they're still going to go.
I'm serious. I really think this is going to be like CeeDee Lamb all day, every day.
Yeah, they're not going to be balanced at all. It's going to be very pass heavy. I mean, they'll run it a little bit with Zeke and with Dowdle and whatever the fuck, but them not drafting somebody significant and not signing somebody significant, it is like couldn't be a clearer sign that they're going to be just throwing the shit out of the ball. I agree. But yeah, they didn't also like tremendously upgrade their receivers either, so that was a little.
Pretty much everything, like their entire team, pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah, they haven't done anything that's like made any sense. Like they're like, what we're gonna do? Nothing. That's what we're gonna do. All right. If we took
last year was their year. I also like Jacoby Myers.
Who's there for what position?
We can take pretty much whatever we want right here. Fryermuth, Chase Brown, Blake Corum, Ezekiel Elliott, Kendre Miller, Nick Chubb. No, sorry, Marshawn Lloyd.
I like Kendre Miller. I like Lloyd.
Jacoby Myers.
I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Get some rookie firepower in the backfield. Okay, so we have another pick coming up. Let me just see if we have anybody. Oh, Musgrave.
Do we have tight end?
And Deshaun Watson. Okay, so let's see. We have a tight end, yeah, but we could use a second. We need a second tight end. Want to take Musgrave here?
Yeah.
Coming around, and then just pray that Deshaun Watson gets back to us.
If not, he goes always Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins has been picked.
Wow.
Then not Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Cousins has been picked, but Tua and Jared Goff are still on the board. Matt Stafford on the board, and then Watson down there. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we got one QB, you kind of got to grab one.
All right, so I'm taking Musgrave here for Deshaun Watson to come back to us. But it's like we're not tied to Deshaun Watson. If we get him, that'd be great because we have Amari Cooper. But if we end up having to take somebody else, like if, for example, we have to take – oh, okay, so let's see. Goff is gone. Tua's still there. I'd be fine with Tua. I'd probably be fine with Matt Stafford, frankly.
Be right back.
All right.
Let's talk shit about John.
Did you notice with that, like, depending on how he's turned his head this way or that way, his hair will disappear or reappear in the screen on his, because he's got the, you guys both have the background behind you,
Right.
and like his hair will disappear. So every off with no hair, it'll just be a shiny head. Like, so all you can see is his forehead, and his hair disappears through behind to the green screen. It's like the computer can't figure it out. So the computer's just, it's just like boop, and his hair disappears.
It probably looks wild. I gotta check this out.
It's fun.
I can't wait for fantasy. I gotta check the girls' parlay.
What do you?
Each of them, I told them, I was like, there's like, I don't know, there's like 6 baseball games today. I was like, I'm gonna say a team and you tell me which one. So they did a 6 leg for each of them.
Oh my god.
Elena got the first one wrong. Levy got the first one right. They didn't know what was happening. I was just like, oh, which one sounds better? Hey, you never know. Sometimes that happens.
Just made a parlay and I bet it. Daddy just bet a parlay. You didn't tell them that, right?
No, I just said, listen, which team do you think is going to win?
Right. And then you were like, okay, thank you, goodbye.
I was like, and what about this next game? And what about this next? Hey, what are you eating, John?
Some crackers.
Oh, that's racist. Sorry.
What?
I don't know. Where are we? Did you come around and able to get him yet or no?
Or come on, believe this can happen. This guy has 3 quarterbacks. Oh my god, and no tight ends.
How many is he like the next QB to choose?
We have Matt Stafford, and then just off the bottom of the screen is Deshaun Watson. So we can't look at him. We have to keep him hidden on the bottom of the screen so nobody else sees him. Geno Smith goes. Whew. This guy was with 3 quarterbacks. He's not picking a quarterback. Tyler Algier. Interesting. Still no tight ends for him. This guy's. Oh, so and we get our guy.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We are sitting pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of risk. There's a ton of risk in this lineup.
High risk, high reward, baby. That's how we roll.
We have a pick and 5 picks. I like Jalen Polk. This guy, Kamani Vidal, John, you talked me into him. I like him too.
That's Johnny's fucking boy.
Yeah,
love this guy. I have a feeling you guys are going to draft him, and I'm going to be pissed. I'm like, fuck.
Well, we both can.
I'm definitely going to do that. No, I'm going to do it. I'm drafting him right in your fucking face.
Yeah, I'm going to draft him and then trade him to you before the season starts.
Yeah, I'm going to draft him and trade him to you for your next pick that's in that same round. And make that pick for you.
Huh. So what are we looking to get? Doesn't matter, wide receiver or RB.
Wide receiver, Noah Fant sitting right off the bottom of the screen here.
Wouldn't be bad.
Who do we have here? We have Johnny's boy Vidal. If we get Vidal, he's our last running back.
How many receivers we got?
5.
Any rookie tight ends that are not Brock Bowers that you think, like, I think Sanat is going to be decent in Washington.
I think he's got a good future in Washington. I just don't. I even with what Laporta just did, I'm taking this kid Vidal. Even with what Laporta just did, I'm still not like being like, okay, now years and years and years of no rookie tight ends working out is anymore. I just think that Laporta had an amazing year, and I'm still not betting on rookie tight ends to do shit.
No.
Especially with a rookie quarterback and a brand new coaching staff and all this other stuff. Like, he's going to be, I think he's going to be a good player, like maybe next year or, third year, blah, 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 whenever he breaks out. But, I don't think there's going to be this year's Sam Laporta. I don't think there's automatically one of those guys every year now.
No, it's a rare occasion.
Honestly, I think that we're getting to the end of the Travis Kelce's and of the world, and like I think Travis Kelce is, and even this Laporta.
When you say Travis Kelce's world, like it's just Travis Kelce, right? Because like who else is retiring? Kelce, Kelce, we have years probably of him, but like who else is retiring? There's only one.
Yeah,
Travis
after
Kelce.
that, I mean, the tight ends are wide open.
Are they? I mean,
there's tiers to it. I mean, you have Laporta, you have your Kincaid, you have your Evan Ingram, but they're not like.
There's a lot of guys in between Laporta, Kincaid, and Evan Ingram. Oh, like, what about Mark Andrews or George Kittle or Kyle Pitts or
Trey McBride?
Exactly. Like, there's a lot of even right now, the tight end position has a lot of really good guys that, it's probably deeper than it's been in a really long time, in my opinion. I think tight end is, but the Travis Kelce's of the world. Who?
Yeah, the Taylor
Swift. I'm not high on Kyle Pitts this year. Like, I'm just not. He's burned me.
I can understand.
You gotta be high now more than ever, I guess.
I'm just shocked that guy didn't request for a trade or something.
Let's see. We're on the clock. Michael Wilson, J.K. Dobbins, Mitchell, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen McMillan, Javon Baker.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
He likes to bake.
Yeah, UCF, baby. He was the number one. He led the Big 12 in receiving yards last year.
I drafted him. He's on New England. He's got as good a chance as anybody to fucking be good. He's going to get his opportunities, I think, right?
I think he's honestly more talented than Jalen Polk, in my opinion.
Well, we're going to find out. Hopefully you're right.
Let me ask you this. DeMario Douglas, like, I'm hearing, like, riffs and raves about him, and I know he had a good year last year. Like, is he legit, this guy?
I don't know. I think he's like an okay number 2 receiver. He's a good guy to have in your receiver core. I'm not sure what his best position on the field is, but I think he belongs on the field. But I also don't think he's gonna like lead your receiver core. I don't think you want him as your best guy.
Gotcha.
You still want to have a better number.
I did more research on the guy. He was with Malik Willis, correct? At Liberty?
That I don't know. Let's see. Michael Wilson. Very unexciting. All right, I have 2 more picks. 2 more picks to make here. 7 receivers, 5 running. What?
And how many QBs we have? 2?
2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. So we could go with a quarterback and a tight end to close it out, just to have 3 and 3. Oh shit! Look at this. We messed up. Two quarterbacks by week. Definitely need another quarterback. Somebody to
for
play
sure.
week
What's
10.
left?
So let's see. I'll check in. And he'll probably be playing by week 10. He might not play at the beginning of the season, but by week 10 he'll be playing.
And we got
could take a
neighbors.
chance. We do have neighbors. We could take a chance on Justin Fields that he'll be the quarterback by week 10. Oh, you know who? Let's see. Is Drake May still here? No, he's been picked.
And what tight ends are left?
I don't think Daniel Jones is going to make it to us, unfortunately. Derek Carr, Bo Nix. Ooh, Bo Nix. I would pick Bo Nix. Tight ends, let's see. Jonnu Smith, Chig Okonkwo, Jelani Woods, Gesicki, Jawan. Not okay. Chig Okonkwo just got picked. Jawan Johnson, Cole Park, Ian Sanders, Dawson Knox, Tucker Kraft, Hayden Hurst, Theo Johnson.
I like
Johnson.
I like Juno.
You like who?
Juno.
Jonnu Smith.
Yeah. Want a piece of that offense.
That's fair. I like that. I like that reasoning. Juno.
Juno.
Yeah, I was excited. From Michael Mayer. I think I drafted him as like my third tight end on a bunch of teams pre-draft, and then they fucking drafted Brock Bowers, and then I was sad. I thought
They're
Michael
like
Mayer
hyping
would
up
be-
like Brock Bowers, like he's the freaking next Messiah.
Are
A
they?
lot of two tight end sets.
I haven't heard any real actual camp news or anything like that on him. Have they been?
He apparently had a really good camp.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell that was. It was the second most confusing pick in the first round, in my opinion.
After Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, Atlanta. I still right don't know what the hell he was. Daniel Jones got picked.
Dang.
Okay, so we can pick Juno, get a piece of that offense, as John says, which I totally agree with. This guy has 3 quarterbacks. This guy has 3 quarterbacks. And then it's the turn, and this guy already has 2 quarterbacks. So I feel like I'm going to gamble that nobody picks a quarterback between now and our next pick, and we can still take.
I did the gamble get Justin Fields because I think he's going to take over for Russ's job.
So you'd rather have Fields than
I'd rather have Fields than Bo Nix because I know what Justin Fields is, and he's a fantasy stud if he's starting.
John, if he's not starting, we take a 0 that week.
Big fat 0.
It's a huge gamble. It's an insane gamble.
But Bo Nix is not going to be starting this year.
Right. If they had a different bye week. Yeah.
Bo Nix is definitely going to be starting by week 10. What are you talking about? You don't think? Anthony, what do you think?
I think Justin Fields starts before Bo Nix.
Yeah, but
I think Bo Nix starts week 1.
They're saying Jarrett Stidham is going to be the starter.
They're going to sit him, bro.
That's what they're saying.
Sit him. Sit him. They're going to sit him.
What about Derek Carr? And just and just
Totally fucking wing it.
well, at least we know he'll be the starter, right?
You think?
Oh my god. Well, we're on the clock. We need to pick a quarterback.
Oh my god. I mean, one that you know is going to start. Carr, Knicks.
It's a car. I think Bo Nix starts week 1, and he starts the whole season for Denver. I think that Justin Fields might play, but I can't guarantee that he'll play. But I know Bo Nix, no doubt.
My thing is that Russ signed a veteran minimum, and I do think that I don't know. I don't think Russ has it anymore.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
He might have a little bit.
I think that when Arthur Smith's offense sucks balls, like we know it's gonna do, know it's gonna happen. He's gonna be like, oh well, I could just get Justin Fields and have him run all over the place because I suck at play calling, and tell him to hand the ball off to a third string running back and throw it to the 5th wide receiver and the 3rd tight end on the team.
Sounds good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of questionable decisions that were made in Pittsburgh. The Fields decision, the Arthur Smith decision. There's definitely, I mean, you know, the season can't get here soon enough because I need to see all these things play out, you know?
I
Agreed.
All right,
so,
gentlemen, I gotta
all right.
Yeah,
that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys for joining me. We appreciate it. And I will see you next time, where it's always